A spectacular event occurred with a group of believers who visited the chapel where Saint Faustina prayed every day. The air seemed different, almost palpable, as if a divine presence were hovering there, watching every movement of the visitors. Some reported seeing a different light. Others felt a shiver that ran down their spine and warmed their hearts at the same time. This experience was so striking that, even without fully understanding it, everyone left with the certainty that they had witnessed a divine touch. And now, the question that cannot be silenced. Was there really a miracle, or was it just the power of faith manifesting itself in an overwhelming way? Regardless of the answer, the feeling of mystery and enchantment remains. And before we continue, I want to ask something very important. Write in the comments the names of people and relatives who need prayer, because we will include each of them in our main prayer with a rosary. The story of Saint Faustina is full of impressive moments that reinforce the faith of those who seek greater meaning for their lives. Born in Poland, she became known for her visions of the merciful Jesus and for the deep commitment she demonstrated in her daily prayers. The small chapel where she retreated was simple and silent, but filled with devotion. Many people spend their entire lives searching for a place that brings them inner peace, and this chapel, however modest it may have been, became a spiritual refuge for all those seeking comfort, including tourists who would later witness the inexplicable phenomenon. During the tour, it is said that these believers were drawn into the chapel almost as if some force were calling them. Inside, every detail seemed to speak to the heart. The old wooden benches, the simple table that served as an altar, the modest images of saints and, above all, the unmistakable feeling of being in a sacred environment. Some remained motionless in silent prayer, while others sang soft hymns. The atmosphere was one of deep respect, but something extraordinary was about to happen. Many claim that, while they were praying, they heard a soft whisper, as if the voice of Saint Faustina herself could be heard there. It was at that moment that, suddenly, the atmosphere seemed to gain a different glow, a kind of clarity that emanated from the image of the merciful Jesus, reminding everyone that faith can manifest itself in surprising ways. Of course, from that moment on, many testimonies emerged. Some people said they saw a golden reflection across the ceiling, while others swear that the air became lighter, almost perfumed. There were even those who had the sensation that someone was gently touching their shoulder, as if to convey a message. Trust, I am with you. For many, there is no doubt that it was a miracle. For others, the explanation may lie in the emotion of the moment, the strength of the collective prayer, or even the deep desire to witness something supernatural. In one way or another, what is known is that everyone present left transformed, more convinced in their faith and with a story that would remain forever marked in their lives. Whether it is a miracle or a manifestation of intense devotion, what we cannot deny is the importance that Saint Faustina's chapel holds for the faithful. It has become not only a tourist attraction, but also a place of pilgrimage and reflection. People from all over the world travel there in the hope of finding a moment of peace and getting closer to God. And each step within that sacred space rescues the essence of a simple life, but one deeply dedicated to prayer. Perhaps the greatest lesson left by Saint Faustina is precisely that faith, when sincere, has the power to change hearts, heal wounds and generate miracles, whether they are visible or not. Devotion to divine mercy, strongly propagated by the revelations of Saint Faustina, is an invitation to surrender completely into the arms of God. The moment when believers, tourists, and even curious people meet before the altar where the saint used to pray is, without a doubt, a call to renew their own prayers. There, as each person kneels or sits in silence, it seems that spirituality becomes more intense. The atmosphere invites introspection and an intimate dialogue with the divine. And this collective union of supplicant hearts can produce true miracles in each person's personal life. After all, it is not uncommon to hear stories of graces received, unexpected cures and profound changes after someone decides to surrender body and soul to faith. In this context, stories of miracles gain strength precisely because of the shared experience. When several people witness something unusual, the subjective factor of faith mixes with the reality of what was perceived by the senses. This is where the stories that have been passed down through generations, passed from mouth to mouth, are born, further strengthening the miraculous story that surrounds Saint Faustina's chapel. In fact, these inexplicable events are a way of rekindling hope in humanity, especially when the daily news is so full of conflict and pain. And even if there are those who doubt it, the evidence of hearts touched, tears of emotion and spiritual renewal cannot be ignored. Those who live the experience never forget it. Thus, each pilgrim who arrives at that chapel brings a different expectation. Some seek answers to personal problems, others want physical or emotional healing, and there are still those who simply seek to understand what moves so many people to devote themselves so intensely. The truth is that there is an atmosphere of love, compassion, and, above all, unshakable faith. Perhaps it is this power of belief that really works miracles, after all. As Saint Faustina said, God's mercy is infinite and is within the reach of all who sincerely open their hearts to receive it. And if you who are watching would like to experience a little of this grace, be sure to include your prayer requests and those of your loved ones in the comments, as each name will be embraced in our main prayer with a rosary. In our daily lives, it is very easy to forget to practice prayer and reflection, which are so essential to maintaining serenity in the face of challenges. We wake up in a rush, perform tasks automatically, deal with financial, emotional, and many other concerns. In this frantic pace, we forget the strength that a simple prayer can have. It is at this moment that we remember the example of Saint Faustina. She never stopped praying, even in difficult times. We need to bring this practice into our routine, seek forgiveness, cultivate peace in our hearts, and increase our faith. If you know someone who needs a special grace, comment on that person's name right now, so that we can include them in our main prayer with a rosary and ask that the same blessings that touched so many hearts in Saint Faustina's chapel may also touch those you love. And now, I really want to hear from you. What do you think of this whole story? Do you believe that there really was a miracle in the chapel where Saint Faustina prayed, or do you prefer to believe that it was a coincidence of phenomena that touched people's hearts? Leave your comment, because your participation is essential for us to continue this joint reflection on faith, devotion, and miracles. Oh, and don't forget, if this content touched you in any way, like the video and subscribe to the channel to continue following inspiring stories, messages of faith and stories that make us believe that there is always hope. Together we can spread even more peace and mercy that we need so much today.